Hey guys, what's up? It's Lulu here, and in this video I'm going to be showing you why now is the best time to switch to a Linux distro called Ubuntu. Now, people have always thought as Linux as the distribution that only geeks and nerds use, totally unuser-friendly, and you have to type everything into a command prompt, and your regular computer user would never be able to use it. And I cannot tell you how far away from the truth that is. So in this video I'm going to be once again showing you why now is the best time to switch to Linux Ubuntu. I hope you guys enjoy this video, and we will start right now. Okay, reason number one is price. Unlike Windows and Mac OS X, Ubuntu is entirely free, and almost everything in their App Store, which is similar to the Mac OS X App Store or the Windows Store, is free as well. As you can see, I'm browsing through some sound and video applications, and almost nothing has a price on the right, which is pretty amazing, and there are tons of apps in this store too. So yeah, everything in Ubuntu is free, and Ubuntu is free to install, which is extremely important if you do not want to spend $300 on an operating system, which is, I think, about what Windows charges. And if you want to get Mac OS X, although the operating system itself is only $30, you normally have to buy an iMac for it to run the best, and those can be like $2,000. Alright, reason number two is speed. First of all, let's talk about boot up time. Using Ubuntu, I can boot up my computer in less than 30 seconds. However, I also use Windows on this computer, and when I try and turn that on, it takes more than 3 minutes. So Ubuntu in this category dominates. Okay, we all know boot up speed is one thing, but let's talk about speed while actually using the operating system. Unlike Mac OS X and Windows, Ubuntu requires minimal resources to run, and furthermore, applications boot up and run quickly and seamlessly in Ubuntu. In Windows, it may take a couple minutes for an application to load, it may be a little buggy, I double click on something, I get the loading sign. Let's see what happens when I launch a random application in Ubuntu. It's seamless, I can browse through my files and folders really quickly, I have no loading signs, no lag, and it's really good. Gaming on Ubuntu is also awesome. Because Ubuntu does not require as much resources as Mac OS X and Windows, it means that there's more resources to be allocated to the game, meaning my game runs faster, smoother, and I can bump up my settings another level. Let's talk about something else that's pretty cool. Unlike Windows and Mac OS X, Ubuntu is tiny compared to them. Ubuntu only needs about 5 GB of space to install. However, the 64-bit version of Windows needs about 20 GB of space to install. And Mac OS X, although smaller than Windows, still needs about 8 GB of space to install. So, as you can see, Ubuntu is the king in this category. Okay, reason number three is compatibility. Although when Ubuntu first came out, it was compatible with almost nothing, it is now compatible with almost everything. It can even run exe files with the help of some extra application, so even if there's an application you want that isn't originally compatible with Ubuntu, you can now run it with Ubuntu. For example, I have installed Microsoft Office Word 2013 and PowerPoint 2013, two programs originally completely incompatible with Ubuntu, and if I launch this, as you can see, it loads and works just fine. I'm not going to type anything though, because when I type stuff while recording, it seems to lag. However, I can type, save, and reopen documents within Microsoft Word, although I'm using Ubuntu. Another reason Ubuntu is good compatibility-wise is because you can now almost use any USB flash drive or USB mouse, and it will have the drivers for it. You can also install drivers for almost any printer and almost any phone too. As you can see, I have my USB flash drive plugged into my phone computer right now. I have some stuff on it right now, and I also have my mouse plugged into my computer, which is working right now. It's also compatible with my microphone, obviously, as you can hear I'm recording. So yeah, even if a program isn't compatible with Ubuntu, there are plenty of alternatives in the Ubuntu Software Center, where almost, once again, every app is free. So you're pretty much set with all your applications in Ubuntu. Alright, reason number four is ease of use. Although Windows and Mac OS X both try to be reasonably easy to use, and are both pretty easy to use, I feel like Ubuntu is the easiest to use. As you can see, you have this little sidebar on the left, which has all your favorite applications pinned to it. But not only that, it also has this menu thing on the top left, and if you click on this, you can search for any application or even online things from here. You can filter your results and find almost anything and launch it instantly. For example, if I was looking for, I don't know, an application called VLC. As you can see, it comes up instantly, and then I can single click on that and it will load. Another cool thing about Ubuntu is it's really easy to browse through all your files. You simply click on the files icon and you will see you launch into this thing called the home folder. This is basically where all your personal files are kept. If you go to your computer, this is where basically all your applications are kept, and this is where all your system files are. However, the home file is probably the only thing you're going to need. You can go to your documents, all your documents will be saved there. You can go to your downloads, and anything you download will be saved there. Then you can save things into your music, pictures, videos, files. And then you also have a trash right here, which you can empty, and you can also restore files from the trash. You also have a recent tab up here, where it will basically take you to any recent tabs you have been in, or basically anything you've opened recently. Alright, reason number 5 is stability. Ubuntu just simply doesn't crash. Although Windows and Mac OS X are pretty stable, and most of the time they run pretty fine and don't crash, Ubuntu, when I've been using it for 2 years, has never had a single crash on me, and although I have had some occasions where applications freeze, it's never forced me to power off my computer by holding the power button, which I've had to do many times in Windows. Alright, the next reason is the ease of installation. Although Windows and Mac OS X I found pretty easy to install when I tried them out, Ubuntu dominates once again in this category. First of all, Ubuntu installs all updates while installing. That means that once you're done installing Ubuntu, you don't have to spend countless hours and days installing more updates and service packs, even though you're already done installing the operating system. For Windows, it takes a couple hours to download, and then after I download Windows, I have to install at least a gigabyte of updates, which is bigger than Ubuntu itself when you download it. Alright, the next reason you should switch to Ubuntu is maintenance. Although Windows and Mac OS are pretty easy to maintain, on Windows or even Mac OS X, you have to do virus scans, you may have to do defragging, and you may have to spend time removing a virus if you install one. On Ubuntu, I don't even have a maintenance program installed, because I know that you cannot catch a virus on Ubuntu. You're more likely to catch a virus on OS X than you are on Ubuntu, and you don't have to defrag Ubuntu or do anything like that ever, which is extremely awesome if you're like me and hate doing maintenance scans and schedules that waste a ton of your time. Alright, we're down to my next and last 2 reasons you should switch to Ubuntu. My next reason is this thing that Ubuntu has called multiple workspaces. Basically, this means if you have a billion applications open on your desktop and you need some more room because you have a kind of small screen or something and it's completely cluttered, basically you open up your handy workspace switcher. Oops, I accidentally full screened that. Just a second. Okay, sorry about that. You open up your workspace switcher, and then you can basically switch to another desktop where you have room to open even more applications on this workspace. And you can set the number of workspaces you want, and you can actually drag applications between each workspace, which is really, really cool. This brings me into my next reason, which is the customization of Ubuntu. First of all, you can customize the way you switch between your workspaces. For example, I've enabled this thing, which is called Desktop Cube. There's also Desktop Globe, and people have also done really funky things with this. Like, when I'm like this, 3D windows kind of pop out of the screen. People have made it so that when they close Windows, the screen explodes into a billion pieces. People have made it so you maximize your window and it goes into like a vortex. It's just really, really cool. I've also enabled this thing called Wobbly Windows, which is basically like my favorite thing to do on Ubuntu, where it basically makes the windows wobbly, and oops, I accidentally switched to the wrong desktop there. But yeah, Ubuntu is extremely customizable, as is any Linux distribution, which is really one of the reasons that people love Ubuntu. I'm pretty sure that's about it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed that video. I will have links to how to install Ubuntu and my basically how to use Ubuntu and Ubuntu review video, as well as any other videos I think of. So thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time. Successfully installed an app called WinUSB, which will allow you to make a live USB. Basically, to pick your username. So this is a really nice way to get a Mac-like operating system for free.